Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to talk all about our daily lives. We'll be taking a look at the present simple tense. It's just perfect for talking about your habits and all those things you do every day. Ready? Let's jump right in.
Okay, so first up, to really see how this grammar works in, real life, we're going to listen to a quick conversation between two people. I'll read both parts for you. Just listen closely for how they talk about their daily routines.
What time do you wake up on weekdays?
I usually wake up at 7. I brush my teeth and get dressed quickly.
I start work at 8, so I always leave home early.
I meet friends after work sometimes, but I often go home and cook dinner.
Sounds nice. I always watch movies in the evening. It helps me relax. So there you have it. In that really short chat, we heard a ton of great examples of the present simple, didn't we?
Awesome. So now that we've heard it in action, let's take a closer look and really break down the grammar behind it.
So, think back to that conversation for a second. Did you happen to notice the verbs they used? Words like wake up and start. Yeah, those are our action words. Let's dig in and see exactly how they work. Okay, now this is really interesting. Look at how the verb changes here. When you use I, the verb is super simple, right? I wake up. But when we switch to talking about she, we have to add an S to the verb. She starts. See that? That tiny little s is one of the biggest rules in the present simple tense.
And what about these words? Did you catch them in the conversation? We heard words like always, usually, often, and sometimes. These are what we call adverbs of frequency, and they basically just tell us how often we do something. They are super useful, and you'll see them all the time with the present simple.
All right, so let's get down to the big question. What's the main rule? Like, when and why do we even use this tense?
Okay, here's the most important thing to remember. We use the present simple to talk about things that happen again and again. Like your daily routines, waking up, for example, or habits, like brushing your teeth. It's also for facts that are just always true. Something like, I work in London. That's a fact about my life right now.
And check this out. This chart shows the rule for positive sentences perfectly. See the two groups? For I, you, we, and they, the verb just stays in its simple, basic form. So, I cook dinner. Easy. But for he, she, and it, that's when we add that special S or ES. So it becomes, she wakes up early. It's a really simple rule once you get the hang of it.
But what if you want to say no? How do we make negative sentences? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Step 1, you just pop don't or doesn't right before the verb. And here's the key part. Step 2, the verb goes back to its simple base form. So you'd say, she doesn't eat breakfast. Notice we don't say she doesn't eats. Why? Because the doesn't already has that S sound in it for us.
Asking questions is super similar. You just start the whole sentence with do or does. Then you add the person, the subject, and then, again, the simple base verb. So for example, do you drive to work? See how that works?
Okay, let's look at a few more examples from everyday life. I think seeing these patterns a couple more times will really help make it all stick.
Let's go through these together. First one, she leaves the house at 8. See, there's that S. Next, he goes home after work. Here we add ES, but look at the next two. With they and we, the verbs are simple again. They have lunch at noon, and we visit family on Sundays. You're starting to see the pattern now, right?
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground. So before we wrap this up, let's do a really quick summary of the most important things. This will help lock it all into your memory.
So, if you remember anything, remember this. First, use the present simple for all your routines and habits. Second, don't forget that little S for he, she, and it. Third, use don't and doesn't for negatives. And finally, use do and does to ask questions. That's pretty much the whole shebang.
And now it's your turn. Here's a question for you to practice with. I want you to think about your own morning routine. What's one thing you always do in the morning? Go ahead. You can even pause and try to answer it out loud using the present simple. Thanks so much for joining me today.